What's going on, everyone? This is Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing round 2 DFS Showdown targets for the 2020 RSM Classic. Craig, Wynn kind of got up there on Thursday. We had some really high scoring, but we also had some pretty low scoring from a few guys. Matt Wallace right now is at 6 under. What do you think of day one?
Yeah, there was a huge range. Some people were going way over par. Yeah. Other people seemed to be getting further and further below. The other thing that surprised me a bit was that I expected the Seaside course to be play harder than the Plantation course, in terms of relative to par. So that surprised me a bit, and I think that's one of the takeaways for me in terms of Showdown is I'm looking for people, potentially who are playing the Plantation course that looked like it played more difficult and are going to be playing the Seaside tomorrow.
So I'm kind of going a different approach. I'm going to go a little bit opposite from you. I see the 261 birdies to 246 birdies. I still think there's scoring opportunities with the 4 par 5s on the Plantation course. So I am still targeting Plantation course. I do hope a lot of the field kind of overcorrects to the Seaside. I don't know, though. I think you kind of have to pick your lane and try to find an advantage one way or the other.
Yeah, I think more than, all the guys I've chosen for this show are playing the Seaside. But for my lineups, I'm going to be looking at people who are going early. So, either way, I want people going early. It is going to, we saw a lot of wind out there today, and it did pick up through the day, and it's reflected in the averages from AM to PM. But it will be calmer tomorrow, but there's still going to be winds picking up, and especially the gusts are still going to be pretty good in the afternoon, which, golfers always talk about how much worse the gusts are than just a steady wind.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I do want to point out, though, it's not a traditional kind of AM wave goes through, then the PM wave goes through. It is kind of a 9:30 start for AM, and then the late guys, I think the last few times about 11:30.
Yeah, it's a continuous spectrum as opposed to two whole flights going off. So
but still a 3-hour difference. The guys going 11:30. They might be playing up until about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so you get the early guys will be finishing. It'll be starting to get windy, but the guys who are going later might have their whole round in the wind. So it's just one thing that if you can potentially find an edge there, then I say look for it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into our picks. My first pick is Shane Lowry, DraftKings 8,100. Pretty good start to his day. 67. He's 3 under, 5 birdies, 2 bogeys. Doing, really well. So we only have stroke gained stats for the guys who play on Seaside. So you're going to see stroke gained stats for my guys. But in that group, he was first off the tee, almost 2 strokes gained on the field. 4th strokes gained tee to green plus 3.09.
And so with that, just with the strokes gained, so with that 1st and 4th, that's only of those people. So it's of the half of the.
So it's half the field. Half the field. Yeah, absolutely. But looking back, so he's going to be on Plantation tomorrow. He's going to get those 4 par 5s. Last year, he ranked 12th or better in par 5 birdie or better percentage. So if I'm using that as a strategy, I'm going with the big guy, Shane Lowry, to get a couple more birdies on the Plantation course tomorrow.
Yep, I like it. No complaints here. My first one here, Joaquin Niemann. He comes in 9,000 on DraftKings. I think, so one of the things I was looking at, the Plantation afternoon today had the highest scoring average. So people that, their first round might not have been that far below par or like that great relative to the whole field. But of the 4, both courses and both AM and PM, he still was above the average of the people that played late on the Plantation course. So, he was one over with 3 birdies and 4 bogeys, but he still is better than the people playing at the same time. So, like we said, no shot link data there, but if you look through his stats that we do have, they're pretty good, and they're good in the way I always like them to be good. Tied for 6th in driving accuracy, 15th driving distance, and tied for 7th in greens and regulation, but tied for 147th in putts per. So that's the only putting stat we have without the shot link data. But
I think I saw him rolling his birdie putt on his 18th hole. I forget which hole it was, but he just kind of gave like a 2-hand up, like he got
like the sarcastic somewhat.
Yeah, exactly.
I always love it when a guy's hitting the ball well and they have not had luck with the putter that day and hope it corrects the next day. Beyond that, he's the third tee time on the Seaside, and if you look through his past, so I took 2019 to 2020 and then compared their typical early and late scoring, and so he has a differential of plus 0.6. So he typically plays better early as opposed to late, so everything points to the fact he should play better tomorrow.
So he's 0.61 better in the morning.
So his morning average is 0.61 strokes better than his late average.
Got it. Yeah, I like that strategy if you're going with it, but I'm sticking Plantation. My second pick here, Zach Johnson, 7,600 on DraftKings. Really good start to his tournament, playing on Seaside today. So round 1, 66. He's 4 under, 6 birdies, 2 bogeys. His strokes gained total, he's 7th in the field, so he's plus 3.883. Yes, he is putting really well. And usually I try to stay away from that in a showdown because that's such a volatile stat, but it's also Zach Johnson, and then that's just kind of what he does. He's not going to bomb it out there and necessarily have the best approach game, but the strokes gained total tell the complete story that his game is fairly complete right now. But if he can keep a hot putter, I like that as well. But going into the Plantation, his last 2 rounds there, what they call the 2020 RSM Classic and the 2019, he has a scoring average of 67.5. He plays it really well. He's got birdie streaks both times he played it. He's got an eagle there, so I like him on the Plantation course.
Yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned it, but he is a local boy too. He plays and lives out of here, so he thinks that he's got a good feel for everything. Just the one thing on the putting, our typical approach is to not give too much weight to putting, but I think if someone was good putting today, it means at least that they're comfortable putting in the wind, which that's going to be a good thing for this round tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
My next one here, Kevin Streelman, comes in at 7,300 on DraftKings. He was 71 minus 1, 5 birdies, 4 bogeys. Tied for 33rd in driving accuracy, 21st driving distance, and T41 in GIR. So all these stats, he was playing again in the he was playing the more difficult course in the hardest time. So essentially he was 2.5 strokes relative to the average in his flight. And another guy, he's actually playing with Niemann. They're in the same group. So he's going out third tee time of the day. And he has he is positive. It's not quite as much as Niemann, but he's about a 0.3 of a stroke better early as opposed to late. Yeah.
I mean, nice cheap price. I think if you're playing Seaside, I think he's a good one.
Yeah, he also, he's one of these guys that it seems like every once in a while he'll just shoot around. You're like, man, I forgot Kevin Streelman was that good. So
it's just it's kind of one of those classic, boring
veteran
picks, right?
journeyman PGA pros. Yeah.
But then he'll go out and shoot a 66. You're like, okay, that works for me.
We'll see if it happens tomorrow.
Yeah. My third and final pick, I'm going with Keith Mitchell, all the way down at 6,400 on DraftKings. He might be popular, but there's also Grillo. Emiliano Grillo is coming in at 6,600, I want to say. So I think he'll soak up a lot of ownership. But Keith Mitchell in his first round, 71, 1 under, 2 birdies, 1 bogey. Both those birdies were actually on the par 5s. So talking about getting more par 5s on Friday, I like him to capitalize on those opportunities. But just like Lowry, he's killing it off the tee. He's second, plus 1.65 in round 1. And then going back to last year, shot a 66 on the Plantation course, which included 8 birdies. So another kind of local guy, plays here often. I think the 4 par 5s he can capitalize on. Clearly has a good history here. If you go back 2 years, I think he had a 72, but still quite a few birdies with that par round. So dirt cheap for Keith Mitchell tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm not sure. You said he's local. I don't remember for sure if he lives there, but he's definitely a Georgia Bulldog alum. And I think he may live there and train there as well. But
about a third of the field has some kind of tie there, it seems like.
My last guy here, Matthew NeSmith. He comes in 6,800 on DraftKings. I brought him up, I want to say maybe it was Houston Open a couple weeks ago. It might have been tournaments before that. I forget when exactly it was. But I like him. I like his game. He's a good ball striker. First round, he was 72 even, 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. in his, so, even you're like, okay, well, that's not great, but that was 1.2 strokes better versus his field, which was the late wave on the Plantation course. And he's going out absolutely first. So if you do buy into the idea that that getting out first on that Seaside is going to potentially, as it was today, potentially be the lowest average, then he's going to have the absolute best of it. And last, he's got a great early to late scoring average. So if that holds up, his trend in terms of scoring better early as opposed to late, then he should be primed for a good round tomorrow.
Yeah, and I do think we're probably going to see some kind of condensed ownership with round 2 showdown. I don't think he's necessarily going to get a lot. So if you're looking for more of a contrarian play with kind of that first wave, that first guy out, I
also think like the guys who are coming at even, if you're just cruising DraftKings and you see someone at even and there's someone at the same price that was -4, you're like, oh man, I want the guy that was -4 today. But it still might be, he still might have been better or like just as good relative to the people he was playing at the same time and conditions as. So
yeah, absolutely. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot to us, so please subscribe. We're going to have our Showdown videos throughout the rest of the tournament, so make sure to subscribe and catch those later on.
Yep, good luck, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.